The barbell hip thrust is a posterior chain exercise. Specifically, we are working glutes, a little bit of hamstrings, but it's a great way to overload those muscles, which sometimes we don't quite get if we're doing deadlifts, which can be limited by grip strength or by low back strength. This gives us the ability to really develop some very strong glutes and hamstrings. It's also a great mobility builder if you tend to be really tight through the hip flexors. So if you're able and you have the mobility to load this really heavy, you're going to get some great gains in terms of strength and hypertrophy. If you're a little bit tighter through the hip and you're having a hard time with hip extension that doesn't come from your low back, it's a great way to help you strengthen that range of motion and eventually develop some really good hip mobility. So when I set up for a hip thrust, you can use a bench if that's all you have available. I like something that's a little bit lower to the ground. They do make specialized hip thrust pads. This is just a couple of crash pads that are stacked on top of each other. But this height of a platform is going to make it a lot easier to get set up. From there, I'm going to roll that bar so it's right inside my hip crease. I do recommend, if you have it available, use a squat pad. It's just going to help prevent any kind of discomfort from the bar resting on your hips. Then I'm leaning my upper back and my shoulders into my platform or into your bench. You're going to bring the feet in so they're nice and flat on the ground, and hands stay on the bar to help stabilize it so it doesn't rotate side to side a whole bunch. From there, you're going to inhale. As you exhale, bring the rib cage down and focus just on squeezing the glutes and driving the hips to the ceiling. You notice my upper back and my shoulders are still supported. I'm not relaxing my head, and I come down to a full range of motion until my plates touch. Big drive, nice open hips. Again, I'm using the glutes, I'm using the hamstrings. Drive back down. Boom, and down. Ideally, if you've developed a little bit of comfort with this and you have an appropriate layout, this is something that we should be able to push pretty dang heavy, like heavier than your deadlift, heavier than your back squat. So don't be afraid to add on weight for this one.